Recently, I did a written interview and I would like to share to everyone. This interview was based on my personal experience in Shincheonji. I didn't really depend on monthly leave, but I did depend on superiors such as team leader or cell leader. When my own plans or thoughts clashed with what SCJ wanted, I sometimes asked them and got help. Sometimes my decisions were based on their advice or opinion, even though I myself was a quite independent person. The reason was because I didn't want to disappoint God. That's why I asked for advice. And about the obedience, I obeyed well to the commandments or announcements of SCJ. When a superior asked me to do something, I did it with obedience. Of course they do. Because of this, I had a wrong image about God. I had questions inside me that God only cares about the results, not the process. I thought God doesn't care how hard I tried, nor how I endured a lot. After I left SCJ, I realized it was a wrong image of God. He's not like that. In SCJ, they do modify behavior with rewards and punishments. For example, at the graduation ceremony, they give rewards to those who evangelized a lot. In 2018 and 2019, there was a commandment from Manhee Lee that those who didn't evangelize should pay money. It was 1,100,000 KRW. And actually I paid since my fruit fell on December right after the center entrance interview. I didn't really experience this kind of thing inside SCJ. However, after I left SCJ, I've heard so many cases of sexual things in SCJ, such as center 전도사님 having sexual relations with the student, or someone having sex inside the church building at night, and etc. I never saw those kind of things when I was inside, but I just heard these kind of things from other ex-SCJ members. SCJ do control clothing and hairstyle. Not in a strict way though, sometimes it depends on the church atmosphere or the people there. They don't control eating or drinking. About the clothing, they do not let people wear short pants or skirts inside the church when you go to the service. And they tell members that since the promised pastor, the leader of SCJ, is watching the recorded video of how the members are doing during the service, your hair should not be bright. They recommend black hair or brown. They don't really control foreigners' hair color as far as I know. This only applies to Koreans. And one more thing, they do not let people wear earrings. If you want, only when you meet worldly people while evangelizing. They tell members that wearing earrings are only for slaves, saying that in the Bible it says so. Since SCJ members are no longer under Satan, which means they are not slaves anymore, now that they become children of God, they control wearing earrings. I have this experience actually. When I did piercing and went to the office, my team leader said you should take off your piercing. Definitely. This was my big problem while I was in SCJ. I used to do the work which is related with abroad. So I had to be in touch with foreigners abroad and communicated with them, did the emailing, also doing the online meetings. There is time difference between overseas and Korea, and I had to adjust to them. So I slept very late at night and sometimes stayed up all night. I had to get up early in the morning, but I couldn't wake up well. I was very, very tired. I had to do SCJ works and H2PL works, and since I was a student at the time, I had to study, do the assignments, and etc. My parents really were worried about my health. Not in a notable way, but of course, yes. I had to pay tithe weekly offerings. I also bought their books, DVDs, and etc. Lots of things. And when I woke up late in the morning and I had to be there, I took a taxi. When I were to evangelize one person, I should meet them, have meal together, hang out, so I had to spend lots of money. When they were to enter the SCJ Center, I sometimes bought them the Bible. These are just a tip of an iceberg. I did spend lots of money. And I also paid 1,100,000 KRW for having no fruit. Since SCJ made people busy with recruiting people, studying the Bible, lots of meetings and gatherings, and etc., people normally do not have time to enjoy their personal time nor leisure activities. For me, I couldn't continue working if I don't have my personal time, so I tried to break my schedule into pieces and enjoyed my time by myself. For example, I went traveling alone or meet worldly friends, had time with my family, and etc. If I didn't have such time, I couldn't bear my life in SCJ since it is really harsh. Yes, if I decide by myself and then just report them, they feel bad about it. They will say like, why didn't you share this to me before you make your own decision? This is not polite. What can I do if you already decide and just share me the result? When I was in SCJ, it was like staining through a sieve. The upper you go, the more information you get. I got lots of info when I was a team leader. When I became team member, there are less information I can get. Not much distortion was there as far as I experienced. I was really sensitive to words and information. I checked where those announcements or words were from. Like, was it from department leader or was it from tribe leader, something like this. I worked at a special department, so I got information which just normal members cannot get. Similarly, there will be information I couldn't get compared to other members who were doing other duties. SCJ educate members not to search things about SCJ on internet. The reason they say is there are so much false information and fake news. SCJ control members meeting in person outside, especially men and women, just two of them. If it is inside their church building, that's fine. They do care when members with weak faith meet each other, since they might spread bad things about SCJ or complaints. If there is a member who seems like spreading things to other members, they do control that person not to meet with other members or tell others not to meet him or her. I shared and was also shared some worldly news among my team. Depends on the interest. For example, I and some members were interested in wars, conflict issues, gender, and human rights issue, so we just shared those kind of news or information. SCJ do have plots for inside members and outside people. They have inner goals and outer goals. Also, they have two versions of explanation to their members and to outside people.